Us is California Congressman Brad Sherman, a member of the House Financial Services Committee and the Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, thank you for being here.
Good to be with you.
You've heard your colleague, Senator Blackburn, talking about the aid is perhaps late, at least it's coming, but she was specifically saying, too, that she is among the group of Republicans that want to provide those MiG-29 fighter jets. We had a member of Parliament on earlier, said she thinks she should go there. The administration not willing to do so. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that we provided a lot more aid to Ukraine in the first year of the Biden administration than we did any time in helping them prepare for this. And during the first year of the Trump administration, we didn't provide them with any lethal aid at all. We're providing helmets, but not bullets. As to the MiGs, the problem is, how do you get them to Ukraine without it raising the involvement of NATO? It's one thing to send in a truck with weapons in it. It crosses the border, and then it's in Ukraine, and then days later, maybe those weapons are used. Once that plane takes off from Poland, well, it's an air raid on Russian forces taking off from Poland. That's why Poland said, well, you can't do that. So then they want to take the planes further away from Ukraine to Ramstead Air Force Base and give them to us. Now how are they going to get to Ukraine without it being an air raid taking off from Russia, from NATO soil? The fact is that what Ukraine needs is the Stingers and the Javelins. They haven't fully used the MiGs that they have. Right. And we've seen in this war that it's not the aircraft that are inflicting the damage. It's the missiles and especially the artillery. So,
you're right. I don't want to get into a discussion about the previous administration. What matters now is, of course, Ukrainian defense forces getting what they need. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see if the jets happen. But specifically the no-fly zone, that is something that Zelensky and Ukrainian officials have been begging for. What is your position on whether or not we find a way to issue some sort of fly zone, if only in a humanitarian corridor area?
Well, a no-fly zone means that our pilots are at the mercy of Russian air defense, unless, as you always do in a no-fly zone, you take out the air defense. So that means you've got to hit Russian territory and Belarusian territory with American ordnance. Yep. And that is the beginning of a war with Russia.
And that's what President Biden said. Quickly, before we run out of time, I do want to hit the administration seems to be shifting the blame for rising gas prices on Vladimir Putin. The Putin price hike. You're from California. I know your constituents must be feeling this. What do you make of the administration's shift to blame what's happening in Ukraine on the rising prices, which have been going on for months?
Well, the last 75 cents is because of what Putin has done. Prior to that, it's what OPEC has done, constrained supply. And the fact is that the United States is producing about as much oil as we burn. We're producing more now than we did when Biden came into the White House. And next year, we will be at an all-time high in production. But regardless of what we produce, it's a worldwide price for oil. The price in Texas is the same, basically, as the price in the North Sea. And until we get the Saudis to backfill for what Russia is not allowed to sell, and our pressure on Saudi Arabia needs to grow.
Last 10 seconds, I got to let you go. They're telling me to wrap in my ear, but could you envision a time when you support restarting construction on Keystone Pipeline?
Frankly, I don't see that, but you take a fresh look at it, and I do think environmentalists have got to look at how much oil we burn, not how much oil we produce, in trying to limit gas emissions.
Congressman Brad Sherman, thank you for being here with us. Much appreciated.